What's going on, everyone? So, Kyrie Irving went and re signed with the Dallas Mavericks. And that, for the most part, at least for now, has basically ceased the Kyrie Irving to the Los Angeles Lakers. That was something that was heavily rumored for the last year and some change. There were numerous times where it looked like Kyrie was going to Lakers. There were reports that Kyrie's really pushing heavily to go to the Lakers. He did a live stream in a Laker jersey. He was sitting courtside. There was all these clues and hints of him going to Lakers. He was pushing hard from the Nets to the Lakers. And ultimately, the Brooklyn Nets decided we're not going to trade him to the Lakers. Joe Tsai said, I'm not going to send him to where he wants to go. And so he ended up going to the Dallas Mavericks. And they were not very good. It didn't work very well. And it's not necessarily because of Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was great for them. The Dallas Mavericks were actually better with Kyrie on the court without Luka than with Luka on the court without Kyrie, which they just lacked the defense. They couldn't stop anybody. And unless Kyrie and Luka had some heroic games, they just weren't able to put it together to win. And the chemistry, it was awkward, right? Kind of like this you go, I go. And there are real questions of, is Luka going to be able to really play alongside another star, right? Kyrie is more than happy to be kind of second fiddle, right? And he's fine kind of allowing other people to shine and other stars to kind of be the guy. But Luka is one of the most ball dominant players we have ever seen. And there is this sense of if things don't go well for Dallas, Dallas could look to move Kyrie Irving. Now, they don't have to, they don't need to, but it's what are your other options, right? If Kyrie and Luka aren't meshing, last thing you want is to lose Luka. And I just don't think Dallas is going to be good enough this year to really make a push to be a contender. I don't. I still think that they are right where they were last year, which was essentially a play-in team at best and could very well miss the play-in altogether, and I don't think anyone would be surprised. Because again, you got the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, we'll see what happens without Ja Morant, but you imagine once Ja comes back that they'll be off to the races. But you have the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Kings, the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers. That's 7 teams right there that I still think are better than Dallas. And then if Zion can be healthy, the Pelicans, Timberwolves still might be very good. Full year with Conley, and Conley was really good for them. The Thunder with Chet, they could take another leap. They were really good last year. So you look at this and you're all right, so Dallas is somewhere in the 8 to 11 range. And that's not count, what does Utah look like again with another full year? And they got John Collins and stuff. So there is this sentiment. And Kyrie has been very nice and praised Austin Reaves and his ball handling skills and talked about how good he was and how he looks, just handling the ball, which is always a great compliment from somebody like Kyrie Irving, who has probably the best handles we have ever seen. The guy is an absolute wizard in that regard. But again, Kyrie Irving to the Lakers is something that is always going to be a thing, very likely as long as LeBron's there, right? Because it's just, they've talked so highly about each other. They've talked about how they messed up. Kyrie's even said, I really messed that up. I really, I should have, he's even said himself, I would have followed him to the Lakers, that kind of thing. But he recently was meeting a Yun fan, and he was on some live stream or something, and the Yun fan asked him are you going to Lakers? And he kind of had a little conniption about it. It was surprising to me to see the way he handled it, right, with such a Yun fan. I could understand some grown man or something like that asking that, but it was some little kid, and he was what? Come on, bro, it's over. I'm a Dallas Maverick now, man. That's, it's come on, ask them that, right? And he's why does everyone keep asking me about the Lakers? And if I'm going to Lakers, I had to deal with that the whole day. And it's you did it to yourself. And look, I've been a big defender of Kyrie Irving, and I am one of the people that would love Kyrie Irving on the Lakers, not at the sacrifice of crazy depth, but the Lakers could trade D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent and basically get to Kyrie Irving, right? It's not that hard to get to Kyrie Irving's money if they needed to. But, and you'd still have like Austin Reaves to handle the ball. You got LeBron James, obviously, Kyrie Irving, right? There's ways to get Kyrie if you wanted to get Kyrie. But is that something that ends up happening? Probably. Like, it's not something I'd hold my breath to. Probably not, right? I think Dallas will at least try to make it work. Even if it doesn't work this year, I could see them trying next year because they'll have some salary space. They'll give it at probably a good year or two before they really look to trade Kyrie Irving. So, it is something that I don't think is going to happen in the foreseeable future. But the idea of Kyrie not understanding why so many fans and so many people ask that question of him going to the Lakers, it's kind of silly to me because he pretty much openly was trying to push his way to the Lakers. Again, doing a live stream, wearing a Laker t-shirt, talking in interviews and stuff about the Lakers and, following it to the Lakers. There were all the countless reports from his camp, right? Like, I don't think people just made that up, right? And it's like, even if he never really did have true intentions to go to Lakers and it was just a leverage play, he still tried to push and use the Lakers as a leverage play. So therefore, it's like, well, dude, like, you spent a year and some change trying to use the Lakers or really try to get to the Lakers. And yes, you signed a new contract with the Dallas Mavericks, but again, like, you set this narrative and you built this idea of you on the Lakers and reuniting with LeBron James. You built this storyline, and yes, it didn't work out, but it's not something that is impossible to work out. Now, granted, like, what is he supposed to say, right? Like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to try to work this out. If it doesn't work out by like trade deadline, I'm going to force my way to Lakers. It's not what I mean by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not trying to say like, oh, Kyrie should have told that young fan like, oh, just give it time, don't worry. Like, no, but it was his reaction and the way he like went about it that was just like, dude, like, what are you talking about, right? Like, and again, this is coming from somebody that has been very defensive of Kyrie Irving and just all the noise that surrounds him. And I think that he gets a really bad rep, and things about him just seem to get overblown and taken way out of proportion. But regardless, it's just like, your reaction is based on your actions that you were taking and the things that you were doing. And obviously he's about his money, right? Like, that was a big thing that I even talked about here. Like, was there the possibility of him taking a discount to go to Lakers? Sure. Was it likely? Probably not. Now, I did believe if Dallas would have played with his money, I could have seen him taking a slighter discount to go play with LeBron, right? Like, if Dallas wasn't going to budge and wasn't going to give him a max and we're trying to give him like $20 million a year or something like that, the Lakers could have gotten to like $15 million in cap space. I absolutely could have seen Kyrie Irving saying, okay, fine, I'm going to go play with the Lakers and I'll just take that $5 million discount. Without a doubt, I could have seen that happening. But as soon as Dallas offered a reasonable amount of money, that was it. And I said that, during the offseason before he signed. Like, when people were asking, do I think he goes to the Lakers? I said it depends on if Dallas plays with his money or not. Because Kyrie, as much as he may have wanted to go to the Lakers, he had shown time and time again he cares about the money and he wants the money, right? He had several opportunities, and every time, and not even just with the whole Lakers situation, throughout his career, whenever it's been something about, I have this option or I have the money, he usually takes the money option, right? Unless it's something like super against his beliefs, something like that, like with the COVID situation, right? But outside of that, like these types of moves, these types of plays, stuff like that, he usually takes the money route. And so I assumed that that's what he was going to do. He was going to take the money route. Unless Dallas really was like, we're not going to give you a max and we're not going to give you a long-term deal. If the Lakers were like, we'll give you, this year or whatever, 2 years with player option or something, right? And, we won't be able to give you the full $20 million, but we give you like $5 million less, and then all the endorsements and brand deals and all that stuff. I could have seen him doing that. But as soon as Dallas said, here's a bag, that was it. But again, like, I wouldn't be shocked if come trade deadline, Dallas is at like 500 and fighting for a play-in spot, and the rumor mill comes right back up. And there is the potential of, hey, let's go and trade for Kyrie Irving, or the Lakers are looking to trade for Kyrie Irving, or whatever, right? Especially with D'Lo waiving his no trade clause. Pretty much all season that is going to be a big part of the rumor mill over the course of this season. Are the Lakers going to trade D'Lo? Where's D'Lo going to go? Blah, blah, blah. And look, I am still of the mind, like, if you could trade D'Lo and Gabe Vincent and Taurean Prince or something like that, whatever you got to do, and you go get Kyrie Irving and you're able to keep all of your depth and this current roster, the Lakers, unless they, like, an injury plague ends up happening, knock on wood, nobody's beating this Lakers team. Kyrie, LeBron, Anthony Davis with Austin Reaves and Jared Vanderbilt and Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish and Max Christie and the list goes on and on. Rui Hachimura, if you're able to keep him, you're not beating this team. You're just not, right? But I don't see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen. And would it shock me? No, of course not, right? Because Dallas could be looking at it as like, all right, well, no one's really going to trade for Kyrie Irving. We're locked into him long term. Lakers will take him. We could take D'Lo and whatever, and we clear off a bunch of cap space. I could see something like that happening. But again, I wouldn't hold my breath. It was just surprising that Kyrie responded and reacted the way he did, because it was like, he just seemed so surprised that so many people are asking if he's going to the Lakers. And it's like, dude, like, you did it to yourself, man. Like, it's not like this was out of left field. It's not like this was something like, what? Like, no way. Like, no, this was something that, like, you planted or your team planted and you were trying to push for. Like, this was very public knowledge. And even the Nets owner, Joe Tsai, his talk and actions and what he had to say about how, like, he didn't want to send Kyrie to the Lakers because that was the destination he wanted to go to. So that means even the owner of the Nets relayed to everybody that, like, you wanted to go to the Lakers. Again, it's something that I think is interesting. It's something that I think is funny. No, it's not a big deal. It's not something that I thought is anything major. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas is doing terrible and all of a sudden all the rumor mills start swirling about Kyrie to the Lakers again. Just my thoughts, but as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Kyrie should be surprised about it? Do you think he's not? Did you see the video of his reaction? What do you think? Do you think, like, yeah, it was a little odd? Do you think, like, nah, I mean, I get it. He's probably frustrated, which I do get. He's probably frustrated. He's had so many people kind of campaign for it and stuff. But again, it's like, you did it to yourself, But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.